All right. Well, welcome to the call. And tonight here in North America, tomorrow morning down in Australia, I guess it's not tomorrow morning, it's already just morning down in Australia. We're hosting the Sizzle World Team weekly training call. And I'm just excited. Things are happening. Things are shaking up. Andrea, what do you think? I mean, are things just kind of feeling like there's a little bit of rock and roll going on?
Hey, there's some electricity out there for sure.
It really is. It's happening. And you think about it, here we are, what, a 13-year-old company, and we're making some traction. We're making some traction. I like it.
Yeah, I know. Had a couple of people who went to that meeting in Australia last night, and they are super pumped up.
Super pumped. That's exactly it. Super pumped. That's the new theme. You just nailed it on the head there, Andrea. Super pumped. It's like being jacked sideways.
A little bit.
Well, welcome to the call, everyone. My name is Dr. Kurt Fisnick, and my co-host tonight is Andrea McKinney from up in Michigan. I'm here in beautiful North Dakota. And as we talk about what's happening with Sizzle and we talk about what's happening with the team, the one thing that I start looking at and I'm going, okay, so as we grow, as you prepare your team, I mean, right now, yeah, it might be you and maybe 3, 4, 5 different people that have joined you. But along the way, you're going to start seeing some momentum in your team. You want your own momentum. And what happens is that sometimes things start to grow too fast. They start to go so fast that you just can't keep up. And I don't want that to happen to you. So what we're doing is we're really coming up with training for you now so that you're prepared when that momentum hits, when you're ready. When it happens, you'll be ready. And so we're putting together a number of different things. My son, who went to school for marketing and some computer, he's putting together a Sizzle World Team website, and we'll have information there that you'll be able to use step by step. What do you do? How do you make things happen? And really, the whole goal is that we're gonna make it so it's easier for you to reach new goals all the time. Reach new goals all the time, and that's really, really important that you keep advancing along the way and hitting your goals, because nothing's worse for your ego, nothing's worse for your business building than to set a goal and not be able to achieve it. So we want to be able to make you do that. We want to help you out along the way. And I know Andrea had a little live workshop last night. It was great. I attended it. And we're going to see things happening like that. As we grow, we're going to see it going from time to time. So Andrea, thanks for doing that. And I know down in Australia, a number of the people on the team down there are doing the same thing. They're hosting little group meetings on a weekly basis, and holy cow, is it working. I mean, we've been seeing people advancing in rank, and Katie just advanced from 3-star to 4-star to 5-star, and you'll see her picture. So congratulations to Katie. Congratulations to everybody else that just keeps moving along the lines. And every month I know there's people that are building their team and growing. So tonight I really want to talk about prospecting. And I called it the dress rehearsal. The dress rehearsal. And Andrea, have you ever been like in high school or college, or did you ever do any acting?
Not at all.
Never?
No, not at all.
Okay. You seem like the type of person that would have gotten into that.
No, I never did.
Okay.
But
You're so artsy.
I am kind of artsy.
Huh. Okay. Well, I would have expected that you would have been kind of a actress type.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a good thing. So anyhow, we called it the dress rehearsal. And, I mean, you can imagine a dress rehearsal. You've practiced and you've gotten everything put together. And then when you go out on the stage, guess what? What can happen, Andrea?
Oh, you can forget.
you can forget. Or worse yet, a good friend of mine, actually now he's a world-renowned speaker. He goes out and speaks to groups of thousands and thousands of people. But when he first got started, David was telling me, and then we're going to talk a little bit about David here on the slides because he's going to be one of our guest speakers in the future. But and he's not in Sizzle currently, but he's actually refers people to me because he does like the products. But the thing about it is David graduated from chiropractic college, and he built a huge practice. And so he went and he attended a couple chiropractic management seminars, and they said, you know, David, you should get into this coaching other chiropractors. And Andrea, he says, I can do that. So he put everything together. You know, he figured, I'm not going to have a script. He walks out on stage in front of 200 people. Guess what happened?
He forgot what he was going to say.
He fainted.
He fainted. That would be even worse.
He fainted. He fell over on the stage. And so somebody had to come help him back up, and then he gave his talk. It went real well, but the thing about it is that he realized that, hey, I better practice, and so that's what I wanted to get out of that. So as we look at these, well, come on. It's not letting me share my slides, so hang on one second. What's going on with that? Hang on, everyone. All right. So, you know, the first time you go out and you try and do something new, you're going to make some mistakes. Isn't that right, Andrea?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, have you made your share of mistakes?
Oh, certainly.
Yeah, we all do, right? And you can do everything. You think you're doing everything right, and something's going to pop up, and it's going to make it so it's not going to work right. And you know, I'm just going to say that do your due diligence, do your training, have your story down cold so that when you get started, at least you got that part down, because that's so, so important. You know, a good friend of mine, he's a two-time Grammy award-winning musician, and he told me, he said, Kurt, he said, do you know how to get to Carnegie Hall? And I said, well, isn't that in New York City somewhere? And he said, yeah. But do you know how to get there? He said, practice, practice, practice. That's what gets you to Carnegie Hall. And isn't that so true?
Yeah, that's what I tell my grandkids. It takes practice. You just have to keep practicing, and you can do it.
You got to keep practicing, and that's the whole thing. But we all have this clutter in our brains. We've got these little monkeys inside of our head, and they're saying, oh, you can't do that. You can't do that. And, you know, so let's just say, Andrea, you're sitting at a party, and there's a big old chocolate cake or whatever your favorite cake is. It's sitting right in front of you on the table in front of you. And sitting right across from you is the lady that owns the cake, right? You don't know her name. You don't know anything about her. And you just want a piece of that cake. But you're just so shy. You grew up in a small town in Michigan, you know, and you never ask for a piece of the cake. Other people come up. She gives them cake. You never get any, right? The party ends, you go home, and you dream about it. You dream about that cake, right? Because you never got a piece, because you never even asked. Well, isn't that what
you will receive?
Yeah, but think about this. If you go out and you have your network marketing company and you have what you're doing with Sizzle, and you never share it with anyone, right?
Right.
Is anybody going to come up and say, hey, Andrea, what are you doing?
Not very many. Nope.
Not very many. Hey, I got to ask you, can you see the slide all right?
I only see your face.
Oh, shoot. I gotta go back on and I was looking at the new slide. You guys were not. How about now? How about now, Andrea?
Yes, I can see it.
Now you see it. Okay, good. All right. Sorry about that, everyone. So, I mean, there's the slide and basically, you know, what I said about the cake and everything like that.
Now I want cake.
Now you want cake.
Please give me some cake, Kurt.
And I don't know why this slide is not letting me do what I want to do. Hang on, everyone.
We got to figure that out, don't we?
Yeah, that's what happened to me last week, too. I don't know why it's doing it.
While you figure that out, I was on mute, but I was sharing with people and I didn't know they couldn't hear me. I want to address what you said about a story. About 4 years ago, I was in a business and had developed quite a big team. And what I did was pretty much three-way calls all day long. And I just developed this story. And I was just basically sharing what was going on with people. And then I would ask them some questions to kind of get them to share back, like open-ended questions so that they would respond to me, you know, so it wasn't just me saying a monologue to them. And the story worked excellent because it was my truth, it was my story, it was what I saw happening and how I felt about it, you know, and it worked. It worked over and over and over, you know, and I didn't have to know a whole lot of other stuff. All I had to do was repeat my story every time I did a three-way call.
Keep going. We're listening.
Yeah, so it worked really well. We had a lot of success in that business. I had 2,000 people join me in 6 months in that one. And so I learned just from that experience how to have my story, you know. So like now I have certain stories. I don't typically talk to people on the phone, but I have pre-composed messages developed and saved in my phone that I can copy paste to people. So if I get in a conversation with someone about anti-aging, would they like some information, I can simply copy paste it right over to them in like seconds. They've got like a video from Tom, they've got some research, they've got a whole playlist of testimonies, you know, and I'll say, well, don't let me overwhelm you with information. I'm just going to give you what I've got and you go through and look at what you want to, you know. And so like it's within seconds I can share that story. I'm not doing it verbally anymore, but I'm doing it that way.
There you go. Yeah, just another way of doing it, sharing the information. You know, so Andrea, getting back to kind of what we were talking about, you know, thanks for sharing that. You know, and all this monkey chatter inside your head, but let's just imagine you're at that same party, but now that cake is yours. You own it. You could sit there and you could eat the whole thing, but you know everybody wants to try your chocolate cake. And you go around the room and you share it with everybody. And, you know, some people, they just don't like chocolate cake, right?
Right.
Do you get all emotional about it? Do you force them to eat the cake?
No.
Absolutely not. But you see what happens in network marketing is that, you know, you're afraid to ask people, you want some cake? You want to try my cake? And then when they say, no, I don't like chocolate cake, you get all upset and you get so emotional about it, right?
Right. And you've got to figure out of all the 100% of people that you contact or come in contact with or know, there's only a certain percentage of those people that are going to be like-minded to you and be interested.
Yep. And there's only a certain few people, there's some people who like chocolate cake, and you're looking for the ones that love chocolate cake. And what I try and tell people is just imagine that everybody that loves chocolate cake, everybody that's going to say yes, they're wearing a green shirt today. Everybody that's going to tell you no, they're wearing a red shirt. So just walk around, and as you walk around, just imagine red shirt, green shirt, red shirt, right? And now, doesn't it make it just easy?
Oh yeah, that would be great.
If only life was that easy, right?
Right.
If only life was that easy. And so that's that's kind of the thing, right? Is that we got to try and make it so that that people can make it that easy. Hang on, I'm just keep having trouble with these slides.
You might have to just leave it right there.
No, I'll just keep moving on.
Okay.
So, we all have our little hang-ups about something. We're usually, we can work our way through them, but sometimes we just haven't, I grew up in a little town. I grew up in a town, there was, I think at the biggest it ever got, we maybe had 100 people. And so talking to strangers, which it's just a real difficult time for me. A lot of you probably don't realize it, but, you hear me talking all the time. But if you saw me, I'm sitting in my living room by myself. I don't see any of you. I can talk and talk and talk, and I'm just really talking to myself. I've gotten really good at talking to myself, right?
Yeah, you do that when you live alone.
Right? And it's easy for me to break the ice with myself. I can find lots of things that I want to talk about, right? But that's the same thing when you go out and you go to a party or you go out to somewhere, you're going to get kind of lonely, stand there talking by yourself, talking to yourself. So you got to find something that you have in common. Find a topic that it kind of falls in your wheelhouse. Like I like old cars, so I'll talk about cars. I like sizzle. I'll talk about sizzle. I like talking about, just natural health. Find something that people have in common with you, and then build that rapport that we talk about. And, when you talk about rapport, I'm not going to get way into it, but you ever notice that, Andrea, if I yawn and you and I are in the same room, I'll tend to make you yawn. You'll get tired. You'll yawn, right?
Right.
And next time you're out with friends, just kind of play around a little bit. When they cross their arms, you cross your arms. When they move their foot, move yours. When they fidget in your seat, fidget in your seat. And just kind of do the things that they do. When they scratch their nose, you scratch your nose. Pretty soon, they'll start doing the things that you're doing. And so that's how you know that you're building rapport. And really, there's two kinds of rapport. Natural rapport is really where you meet somebody and it just feels like you've known that person forever. Have you ever had that happen, Andrea? Where,
yes. Yes.
You just go, wow, I just feel like we've been friends for a long time. It's kind of like the relationship you and I have. I mean, it didn't take us long before we were friends, right?
Right.
And some people are just so good at building rapport. I mean, oh, man, I watch my friend Billy. I mean, he'll just start talking to somebody in the grocery store line. He'll start walking and talking to people in wherever. And it's like he makes them feel like they're his best buddies, that they're best friends forever, his BFF. Right away. And then sometimes it just doesn't come naturally, right? Other times you really need to work at it to build rapport, and you have to practice it, and you're going to be a professional, right? So you intentionally, you cross your arms when they cross your arms, you move your foot, you shift your position, you do these things. You agree with them on some topics, even though sometimes you might not. I mean, it might be one of those points that you want to argue. But you know what? You're trying to build rapport. You're not trying to argue at this point. But you find what makes it click, and eventually you're going to find something, right? I mean, Andrea, have you ever had to really work to build rapport with somebody?
Oh, yes. Yes.
You sure do. Yeah, we got to do that. But, so as we go out and we meet new people and things like that, one of the things that I say it's not rocket science, but people really love to hear their name. Don't you like it when somebody says, Andrea, hey, nice to see you again, Andrea?
Yeah, it feels good.
It really does. They know your name. And so when you're talking to somebody, ask them their name. Ask them their name. And they've shown that if you ask somebody and you say, please, if you say it twice, please, could I get your name, please? Right? In
Right.
some cultures, that really shows a sign of respect. You know, my friend David, he was telling me this story a couple weeks ago, and he's married to this lady from Venezuela. She came from a really well-to-do family, a well-cultured family. And so David was telling me this story, and I have to say, David's Jewish, so if you kind of know the stereotype for Jewish people, you know, he's looking for, they moved to California. She designs high fashion clothing, and so she needed to be near Hollywood, where all the actors are and things like that, right? And so David, being really conservative, he looks for the same things in a dentist that I would, you know, location, price, you know, price. I'm going to say that twice because, you know, that's what us guys do, and qualifications, things like that. And he said, yep, I found the right dentist. You know, his price was right. He was in the right location, all these different things. And his wife came up to him and said, oh, no, I found our family's dentist. And it was all really based on the whole thing with the culture that the new dentist was really polite. He went out of his way to make her feel comfortable and all of that. And so, you know, different cultures have different ways of looking at things. And so, you know, you have to learn how to respect that. And I'll tell you, you got to respect other people's time as well. You know, I don't know how many times I get calls from people and they're trying to prospect me for this or that. And a lot of times they just do it the wrong way. And I listen to them and I go, oh, man, I hope I never sound like that. And I listen to them. Sometimes I'll answer my phone just to listen to people so I can find out what not to do. You ever do that?
Yeah.
You know, the other day I got a phone call. It was just 2 days ago. And I answered as heading out the door. I thought maybe it was somebody I knew. I answered the phone, and it turned out it was somebody trying to market something to me. And I just didn't have time. I'm on the way out the door. And I said, hey, look, I'm on the way out the door. I said, I got to go. But the guy just kept talking and talking and talking. And he's trying to share information with me. I said, look, I said, I'm on the way out the door. I got to get this stuff done. I said, you know, why don't you call me back? And I gave him some alternative times to call me back. He just kept talking and talking and talking. And he didn't hear a word I said. I'm saying, look, I can't listen right now. Finally, I just said, look, I said, I got to go. And I hung up on him, right? I didn't hear a word he said. He might have been marketing me the very best product I ever could have found in my life. And Andrea, you know what I heard?
You heard someone not listening to you. That's what you heard.
I heard a disrespectful, blah, blah, blah. I didn't hear a thing that he said. And so, you know, learn to respect the cultural differences of other people. Learn to respect people. And, you know, if you're gonna do some prospecting with different people, maybe take some time to do a little research of the person that you're going to prospect, right? If you're calling up a chiropractor, find out some things about chiropractors. I remember one time this radio station gal came into my office and she was trying to sell me radio ads. And she came in there and she had ads written out for a podiatrist. all about feet and orthotics for shoes. And I'm looking at her like, you know, you should have done a little research before you came in. I'm a chiropractor. I'm not a podiatrist, right? Mm-hmm. And I never bought ads from her ever. I still run into her every so often and I joke about it. It's funny now. We talk about it now. But, you know, try and become a recruiting superstar. Why would you settle for anything less? You know, and Andrea, I try and tell people, develop what I'm going to call a 3 to 10 call a day habit. Figure out what you need, what you can do, but 3 to 10 calls per day. I remember one time, man, I made 100 calls in one day, and I'm not talking about talking to answering machines. I'm talking to people, right? I mean, I was on a mission. I wanted to prove to myself that I could talk to 100 people in a day, and I did it. But usually, you know, most people don't have that kind of a day and that. But set aside an hour a day, just an hour a day, right? I mean, you're building a business that could pay you $5, $10, $20, $30,000 a month, and you can't afford to put away an hour a day.
Right.
You know, exactly, right? And so you need to kind of plan it out. What's going to be your strategy? when you get on the call, what are you going to say, right? If you don't know what you're going to say, you're going to make one call. You're going to be on one call. Andrea, I like to share stories of things that I've done. Not that I'm all that spectacular, because I've made every mistake in the book. But I remember when I first opened, when I was getting ready to open my chiropractic office, one of the coaches that I had, he said, Kurt, before you open, what you need to do is you need to go out and you need to meet people. You got to be like a politician, knock on the door, introduce yourself, and he said, set a goal. How many people you want to meet a day? And my goal was to meet 50 people a day. And I came from a small town. I have a hard time meeting people. And I remember I went up and I knocked on the first door. Well, first I should say, I would drive around for like half an hour just getting the courage up to go knock on that first door, because I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to knock on that door. And I remember I went up there and I knocked on that door, and they didn't answer the door. And I'm like, yeah, right? I left the flyer hanging there. I went to the next door. They didn't answer. And finally, I went to a door and somebody answered. And right away she says, hey, why don't you come on in and we can have some coffee and cookies. I'm thinking, well, this is pretty cool. Yeah. I like cookies. I like coffee, right? Mm-hmm. And so I went in and I sat down. An hour later, I'm getting up to leave, and I get back out and I'm walking down the sidewalk, and I thought, that wasn't so bad. I went to the next house. They invited me in for coffee, and next house, coffee, cookies, cake, you know. Do you think I met my 50 people a day?
Well, I think you spent a lot of time eating cookies and drinking coffee.
No, I didn't meet 50 people a day. And so then I had to come up with a script where I politely said, hey, you know what? I've got a goal of meeting 50 people today. I'd love to have coffee with you. I'll tell you what. Why don't you come in my office after I open up? I'll send you an invite. I'll let you know, when our grand opening is. You come in and I'll have coffee with you. You have coffee with me in the office. And what was really nice about that is now she's in the office, and it really worked that way. So now when I call somebody about Sizzle, I let them know this is business. I'm calling about business. I've got an hour. I've got a goal. I'm trying to meet 5, 10, 50 people, whatever it happens to be, right? And I'll just tell them. I'll say, hey, Andrea, in fact, right now, I've set a goal for myself that I'm going to talk to 5 more people in the next hour. So I'd love to talk to you about golf. I'd love to talk about going golfing, about your score and everything like that. But right now, I really need to ask you something. Before I do that, let me ask you, is this a good time? Do you have 4 or 5 minutes? Right? And show respect for their time. Get permission to talk. And then you can show them a little bit about what you're doing. And so I kind of look at this, 1 out of 20, that's the name of the slide, it might be different. If you were to figure out your real statistics, how many people would you have to talk to? And be realistic, maybe be even a little skeptical. How many people would you have to talk to? And I want everybody on the call to think about this. How many people would you have to talk to in order for you to find one that would join you into business? Would it be 10? Would it be 20? Would it be 30? And there's no wrong answer here, right? It's your stats. So let's simply work that out. Let's say that you want an average of 1 brand new business partner every month, and you're going to teach your new business partners the same thing. So let's say that, you don't have that much credibility, and let's say that it's 1 out of 100, right? So that means that for every 100 people you talk to, 99 people really don't want to talk to you, right? They'd like you just to shut up so you don't go away. And there's only 1 person that really wants to talk to you. And so, the thing about it is you're only going to have to spend time with 1 person if you figure out what to say, right? So I want to try and help you improve those odds. And what I say is build some rapport with people before you try and close them. So many times, oh my gosh, people try and close me right away, and I listen to them trying to close me. And I worked with a doctor friend of mine for 5 years, Dr. Kim, before he joined us in Sizzle, 5 years. And I had to recruit the help of a friend, Andrea, to actually help me get that done. But we got him in, didn't we?
Yeah.
You know, so timing is everything. Sometimes the timing just isn't right. And really what I tell people is that no usually doesn't mean no, not ever. It usually means no, not now. And so you just don't know what's going on in your life. And what I try and tell people is you just don't want to chase those birds out of the corn. Sometimes you want to go back and you want to go back to those same birds again. So you don't chase them out. You go back and you talk to them. So what do you want to share on that first conversation? I mean, Andrea, if you went and saw a really good movie tonight and then tomorrow you called me up and you told me everything about the movie, the ending of the movie, you know, Robert De Niro gets shot and all these different things, you know, would I go see the movie?
Probably not, because I just ruined it for you.
You just ruined it. If you told me how a book ended, would I read it?
Probably not.
Why is it that in network marketing, people want to just give everything? They want to dump everything on them, right? So what you want to try and do is you want to build some excitement. You want to build some suspense. So your new prospect can't sleep because they want to find out the end of the movie. Don't give it away, right? If you can make it so they can't sleep, right? So before you call somebody, take a couple deep breaths. Make it so you have a more relaxed voice. You know, sit away from the TV set. Get away from background noise. Make your room so that it's really, this is a business. This is your $1 million business. Challenge yourself to sit in the room and make a number of calls that you've decided to make in a day. Don't make one or two and then all of a sudden go, well, I'm going to go get some coffee, right? Don't do that. You know, don't take calls from your mom or your family when you're working, right? Tell them, hey, you know, Mom, I'd love to take calls from you. I'll call you back in an hour. I'm working, right? Think about what you're going to say. Nothing spells success better than being prepared. And have your story down cold. Practice it in the mirror. You know, I'll tell you what, if you could see me right now, I've got a headset on. I've got a big smile on my face. I love what I'm doing. I mean, it's Friday night. I love this. I love this. You know, people call me, oh, what are you doing Friday night? I'm working. Really? Weren't you working last Friday? Yeah, I work every Friday, right? And I don't mind it. I like it. It gives me something to do. And when you're on the call, avoid distractions. You know, if you're talking to somebody that you know, have a little small talk in the beginning and then, you know, get to work. Get to work. Ask questions and then listen to answers. Repeat things back to them. You know, use their name. Use their name. If I call Andrea and I say, hey, Andrea, what do you do? What do you do for a living?
You want me to answer?
Yeah.
I market anti-aging products.
Really? You market anti-aging products. Andrea, that's so great, right? But you see how I repeated it back to her, right? Because it's going to stick in my brain a little better. Plus, she got to hear her name again. But it shows that you're listening, and it shows that, you know, maybe they're important. Maybe you really do care, right? Because a lot of people, you know, when they talk to you as salesmen, man, they could, I mean, they're thinking about the next thing they're going to say when you get done saying your stupid stuff, right?
Right.
And maybe they need a product. They'll tell you. They'll give you little hints and clues during the conversation. Maybe they need to make an extra $1,000 next month. You just never know. And now you can kind of gear your presentation based on that. And don't take no personally, right? I mean, if somebody doesn't like chocolate cake, you're not going to smear it in their face, right? Don't get so emotional on it. You know, it's just an answer. And would you rather have somebody tell you maybe? Andrea, if I said maybe I'll take a look at it, right? That's not a good thing, right?
No. And you know, a lot of people do, if they haven't had a lot of experience in marketing or sales, that no just seems to like stagnate them sometimes. Or it's somebody that was really close to them, maybe a family member or a best friend, and they approached them and they said no, and then it just kind of stagnates them. But you know what? Once you go through a few no's, you know, it gets easier and easier, and you begin to understand they're not saying no to you. They're never saying no to you personally. They're saying no to what you're offering.
That's
you know,
right.
and it's maybe just not right for them.
That's right. And things may change. I mean, the timing might not be right. So I always ask people, I say, hey, you know, Andrea, I know you said no, but things do change over time. So just let me ask you this question. Could I call you back when things change?
Of course.
You see, and that's what everybody will say because they're hoping that you'll forget, right? They really are. They're hoping you forget. But things will change. That's why I don't say, can I call you back if things change? I tell them I'll call you back when things change because you're going to make your first $500, your first $1,000. And you're going to call them back and say, hey, Andrew, remember when I called you and you said to call you back when things change? And Andrea's not going to remember what I'm talking about, but she's going to say, mm-hmm. She's going to say, yeah, right? And I'm saying, guess what? I made my first $1,000. I'm having a party this weekend over at my house. You want to come?
Right?
Right? And then they're going to go, wow, I wonder what she's talking about because they didn't listen to you the first time. They forgot about it. But then review your call kind of in the back of your mind. Maybe jot notes. What went well? What didn't go good? Practice makes you perfect. Try different approaches. Use a sense of humor. Just don't take yourself so seriously. Man, I'll tell you what, have some fun. And, you know, the flow of the call is so important. Hey, I'm calling to ask you if you'd have time to take a look at something. I'm calling to invite you to a party that I'm having over at my house. I'm calling to offer you some assistance. You know, did you know that some of the most successful people in the industry are just like you? You know, artists, teachers, engineers, business owners, whatever it is. But kind of have an answer prepared in the back of your mind. Why would a teacher be good? Why would an engineer be good? Why would a business owner be good? And then tell them, I'm building a new business and I need somebody just like you, right? And then kind of get them into a recruiting interview, right? You've been working to get to this point, so relax, stay in control, right? Learn how to stay in control and thank them. Just say, hey, thanks, Andrea. Thanks for meeting with me, you know? And they might be thinking to themselves, oh my God, what did I get myself into now? I just want to go home, right?
Right.
Or they might be thinking, man, Andrea's doing so great. I want to find out, what is she doing? When's she going to get to the good part, right? You don't know. You don't know, but you start asking questions. You know, how long were you at your last job? What'd you like about it? What did you not like? What's your dream? What, you know, are you hitting your goals? Are you getting paid what you're worth, right? Get to know them. Figure out what you'll need to do to help them because remember, your job started when they signed up. It wasn't your job to sign them up. Your job starts after they signed up. So we're kind of putting together a sizzleworldteam.com website. It'll be up hopefully by the end of the month is what we're working on. And we're going to have some important training tips and tricks and different things. We're going to have some form letters that you can use. And, you know, really network marketing, nobody was trained at it. You weren't born to be a network marketer, things like that. And so we're gonna help you build your business, and ultimately we're gonna come up with a really easy system that you'll be able to use. I mean, the average networker signs up a couple people a month, and so if I can show you how to take those couple people a month and take them through the system, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. Here's what you do. Here's when you do it, right? Wouldn't that make it a lot easier? So that's kind of what we're putting together. And really, I know there's hundreds of things that you could have been doing today. There's a lot of things you could be doing this weekend. You chose to be here. I appreciate that. You know, thanks for sticking around and being here part of this. And for those of you listening to the presentation on YouTube, I hope you got some useful information. Andrea, did you learn something today, or you know, is there something that that maybe you want to learn more of?
Well, it's always interesting to hear this stuff repeated so that it, you know, goes into your mind again, you know, and gives you fresh inspiration to set goals and practice your craft and coach yourself, basically. I feel like I'm always coaching myself. If it's, even if it's like, let's say I'm out mowing the yard and I just get tired of mowing in the middle of the yard, right?
You bet.
And push myself through. I'll go, no, in my head, I'm coaching myself. I'm going, no, Andrea, you're not going to stop now. You're going to get this done, you know, and marketing and contacting people and doing the things that you need to do in your own business is pretty much the same way. You're the boss, but you have to be your boss. So, yeah, so it's good to hear all this stuff and, you know, glean some nuggets of information that will help you.
You bet. Well, Andrea, I appreciate you being here and being part of the teaching with us tonight. And you have a great weekend. I'm sure I'll talk to you over the weekend. Everybody that's been on the call, thank you. Thank you for being here. And I look forward to helping you reach your dreams. Thank you.
Thank you.